There is one sentence I wish every woman could hear before entering menopause. Your body is not broken. And if you feel like you're fighting a daily battle against your own health, know that there is a biological explanation for it. Perhaps you are living through this exact situation right now. You wake up tired even after spending hours in bed. Your belly seems to grow progressively, especially around the abdominal area. Your clothes no longer fit the same way. Your energy disappears throughout the day. Your sleep has become fragmented. Irritability appears without warning, and it feels like your body has simply stopped cooperating. And the most frustrating part is that many women begin to believe they have done something wrong. They eat less, walk more, avoid sweets, and try to repeat strategies that worked in their 30s or 40s, but the results never come. If you have already been through this, I want you to stay with me until the end of this video, because there is a major discovery that millions of women have never had the opportunity to understand. And before we continue, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. Our goal here is to share trustworthy, accessible, and science-based information about women's health, menopause, healthy aging, and quality of life so that you can make more informed decisions about your own body. Now, I want to ask an extremely important question. Is the real problem a lack of discipline, or is menopause silently altering multiple systems throughout the body at the same time? For a long time, menopause was believed to be simply the end of the reproductive period. But today we know, thanks to institutions such as the North American Menopause Society, the Mayo Clinic, Harvard Medical School, and the National Institutes of Health, that it represents a profound metabolic reprogramming that affects virtually the entire body. And it all begins with one silent protagonist, estrogen. Many people imagine that estrogen only regulates the menstrual cycle. In reality, it participates in dozens of essential functions. It helps regulate metabolism, protects cardiovascular health, contributes to bone health, influences body fat distribution, supports brain function, and helps maintain insulin sensitivity. When its levels begin to decline, multiple systems stop working in perfect harmony. This is exactly when one of the biggest questions arises. Why does belly fat begin to increase during menopause? The answer is much more complex than simply eating too much. The decline in estrogen changes the way the body stores energy. Before menopause, the female body tended to distribute fat more evenly. During menopause, there is a greater tendency to accumulate visceral fat, the fat stored around internal organs, especially in the abdominal region. But this does not happen in isolation. Another hormone enters the picture, cortisol. Cortisol is known as the stress hormone. In small amounts, it is extremely important for our survival. The problem arises when its activity remains constantly elevated, and during menopause, many women become more sensitive to the effects of cortisol. Now imagine the following scenario. You sleep poorly, wake up tired, become more irritable, accumulate worries, and your body starts interpreting all of this as a permanent state of alert. As a consequence, the body further favors abdominal fat storage. But the story does not end there. There is another extremely important factor that many women are unaware of, the loss of muscle mass. Even before menopause, after the age of 30, there is already a natural tendency for muscle loss over the decades. What happens is that menopause accelerates this process. And perhaps this is one of the greatest revelations of this video. Muscle is not only for physical strength or appearance. Muscle is one of the body's largest consumers of energy. The more healthy muscle mass a person has, the higher their daily energy expenditure tends to be. In addition, muscle plays a direct role in glucose utilization and metabolic balance. When muscle mass decreases, metabolism slows down. And that is exactly why many women feel that they are doing everything right and still continue gaining weight. At this point, a very common trap appears. Many women try to compensate for this process by eating less and doing only aerobic exercise. But there is an important question. Why does what worked at age 30 stop working at age 50? The answer involves insulin. Insulin is the hormone responsible for helping glucose enter the cells to be used as energy. During menopause, some women develop a progressive decline in insulin sensitivity, a phenomenon known as insulin resistance. In simple terms, the cells no longer respond as well as they used to. This promotes energy fluctuations, increased hunger, stronger sugar cravings, and a greater tendency to store visceral fat. And now I want to reveal an element that many women never associate with weight gain: sleep. Poor sleep is not just a consequence of menopause. In many cases, it becomes one of the driving forces behind the worsening of nearly all symptoms. The decline in estrogen interferes with important neurotransmitters, alters body temperature regulation, and promotes nighttime awakenings and hot flashes. The problem is that a single bad night triggers a true domino effect. The next day, cortisol increases, hunger increases, motivation decreases, glucose control worsens, the desire to exercise decreases, and the difficulty of losing abdominal fat intensifies. Now I want you to realize something extremely important. None of these symptoms occur in isolation. Everything is connected. Some women are discussing complementary strategies with their doctors to support metabolism and overall well-being during menopause, including specific supplements presented in this video's description. They do not replace a balanced diet, exercise, or professional guidance, but they can be part of an integrated approach to supporting this stage of life. But there is an even more surprising discovery. Menopause also affects the brain, and this may be one of the most reassuring parts of this video because many women believe they are losing their mental abilities. Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten what you were about to do? Have you found yourself losing concentration easily? Have you felt your mind racing and exhausted at the same time? There is an explanation for this. Estrogen plays a role in cognitive function, memory, mood regulation, and the brain's ability to deal with stress. When its levels decline, seemingly disconnected symptoms begin to appear simultaneously: forgetfulness, anxiety, irritability, mental fatigue, difficulty concentrating. And there is one more element that deserves attention: silent inflammation. Many people believe that abdominal fat is simply an energy storage site, but it functions as a metabolically active tissue. It produces inflammatory substances capable of affecting cardiovascular health, insulin sensitivity, and metabolic aging. Institutions such as Johns Hopkins Medicine, the World Health Organization, and the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists reinforce the importance of protecting metabolic health during menopause. But now comes the best news of this video. Menopause does not represent the end of quality of life. It requires new strategies, and these strategies work like pieces of a large puzzle. The first is preserving muscle mass through strength training. We are not talking about becoming a professional athlete. We are talking about teaching the body to preserve what protects it metabolically. The second strategy is to adequately increase protein intake throughout the day. The third is to control blood sugar spikes through a diet rich in fiber, vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats. The fourth is to prioritize sleep. The fifth is to reduce stress overload. The sixth is to build a consistent routine of morning sunlight exposure and daily movement. And the seventh is to seek individualized medical guidance. In some situations, hormone therapy may be discussed and evaluated, always respecting individual characteristics and clinical criteria. Now we arrive at the great revelation that has supported our entire conversation. The answer is not in a miracle diet. It is not in a specific exercise. It is not in a hidden secret. The women who succeed in losing belly fat, sleeping better, and suffering less during menopause are usually those who stop treating symptoms separately and begin treating the body as an integrated system. Because the sustained reduction of estrogen changes body fat distribution, promotes muscle loss, reduces insulin sensitivity, and directly influences sleep, energy, cognition, and emotional balance. It is also important to understand that some symptoms often improve over time in many women, while other factors, such as the tendency to accumulate abdominal fat, muscle loss, bone health, and cardiovascular risks, require ongoing attention. That is why, in the first link in the description, there is a supplement designed to support women during this stage of life, helping with metabolism, weight management, and overall well-being during menopause and post-menopause. I want you to remember this final message. Menopause is not a sentence of suffering. It is a new biological stage that requires new tools. And when you understand the true cause of the changes happening inside your body, You stop fighting against your body and begin working with it. Proper nutrition, strength training, preserving muscle mass, quality sleep, stress management, medical guidance, and appropriate nutritional support can significantly improve quality of life, metabolic balance, and overall well-being. There is hope, there is science, and there is a safe path to go through this stage with more energy, more confidence, and more autonomy. If this content was helpful to you, subscribe to the channel, follow upcoming videos, and continue learning about women's health through trustworthy, accessible, and evidence-based information. Because knowledge is one of the most powerful tools a woman can have to protect her own health.